If you've been following my channel, you know that my main passion right now is reviving an older online game called GunZ, the Duel. If you're not familiar with GunZ, I suggest you check out some of my past videos about it. Long story short, it's a third-person shooter with the highest actions per minute of probably any game ever made, and it has huge eSport potential. Initially, I thought I might be able to get a few older players to come back through the efforts of social media, video content, and community, but GunZ is actually growing. New players are seeing this game and realizing what a unique and fulfilling niche this game actually fits. You think Fortnite is the most complex and high skill ceiling shooter because you have to be able to build and edit fast? You're wrong, Fortnite kids, and I bet you don't have the balls like these other new players to get on and get good. One of the things that makes this game so magical compared to other third-person shooters like Fortnite is how immersive it feels once you begin to master the moves of K-Style. Your brain gets into so many button combinations and muscle memory of perfect timing with so many inputs every second that you truly become your character. I want everyone to know how fluid it feels, no matter how janky it might look. Here's a challenge to anyone who's actually new and is gonna play this game because they saw this video. If you can successfully reload Slashshot, or RSS for short, from one spawn in town to the other, and upload the video to YouTube, I will share your video using YouTube share feature, creating a post for my, 8 trillion subscribers to see. Title your video kadai's GunZ RSS challenge or whatever, it doesn't really matter. And you can tweet at me if you want your video shared. My Twitter is in the link in the description of this video. So if you want your video shared on my channel, just tweet at me with your video completing the challenge. If you're new and looking how to get started for my challenge, or just in general how to start learning the moves and combos to get good at this game, I'm gonna recommend you start with Air King's definitive GunZ tutorial and go from there. Also, you can use the website gunz.guide. Link in the description. Check out this chart of GunZ Twitch viewership since the revival efforts have started. In February, GunZ averaged 8 viewers at any given time. But by April, we averaged 146, and for May, it's only getting bigger. And it's not just Twitch. Many smaller YouTubers are hopping on the GunZ hype train too. There's been more GunZ content created in the last 2 months than was created in the last year combined. And don't even get me started on TikTok. We're blowing up there too. I see you, Goovy. Speaking of Twitch, maybe you've heard of Pokelol. Now, he's no kadai. I mean, really, get on my level, bro. Poke jumped on the hype train last week, and he's trying to revive GunZ too. Poke's pull has driven some other new players to check out GunZ, as well as some old pros lurking in the shadows.
We see you, Dyrus. We see you, Daquan.
Poke, if you see this, check your DMs, gosh darn it. If you're a smaller content creator or have aspirations of becoming a YouTuber, this is an amazing place for you to start. This community really rallies behind its content creators, so why not discover an amazing and now growing game and get on the hype train before it's way too late? No matter what happens from here, this is a success. My childhood game, which also still happens to hold up in 2021 and has life again, any time of day I want to play, I can hop on and get a match going. That alone is huge. We couldn't always do that in the last couple years, but we could do more. The server I'm playing on is IGunz. I recently made the jump to the server a few weeks ago, and the growth has been insane. I was sick of the old pay-to-win model of GunZ. Most private servers that are still open were following this archaic pay-to-win model, but IGunz doesn't. This server had only 10 or so people at any given time last month, but this month, the game is popping off. If you want to play, hop onto igunz.net, download the game, and you will be speedrunning carpal tunnel syndrome in no time. The iGunz staff is super dedicated to keeping this game completely free to play with no pay-to-win aspects. I personally talked with the staff members there, and they have some great ideas in their pipeline. The more players and support they get, the faster we'll get updates for our game. The staff at iGunz is very talented at working with nearly 20-year-old broken code that is GunZ. Please keep in mind I'm not affiliated with iGunz in any way outside of offering them my suggestions and trying to bring new players to the game. I get no benefit from you playing outside of more players to play with. I want to give you guys some updates from the last video where I started talking about what I wanted to do exactly to help revive this game. One of the topics I spoke about was attempting to revive GunZ Factor, the old GunZ fan site from back in the day. I actually managed to get in contact with all the previous owners of the site, and there's good news and bad news. The bad news is that a backup of the site unfortunately just no longer exists in full. The only way you're truly going to be able to bring the site back is if you go through the Internet Archive, which is a website if you don't know of it. And you'll have to pull each page individually, and even then there's going to be some holes, a lot of holes. So I don't think it's worth it. But the good news is that I got my hands on the database of accounts that were created on the site, which means that I was given access to nearly 100,000 email addresses associated with GunZ players from back in the day. I'm working with the IGunz staff to use these email addresses to send out emails to ex-players with ethical advertising. Don't worry, I'm not going to spam these guys 9 times a day or anything. Another thing I mentioned I wanted to do in the last video was attempt to contact the owners of the GunZ IP, Masangsoft. I sent them emails with all these statistics of impressions, views, likes, etc., as well as offering my services to them as someone who can help correctly market and monetize their game in Western markets without the pay-to-win garbage that currently exists in the Eastern markets. They didn't respond. Go figure. I'm still doing everything I can for this game. This journey started as a simple video for my YouTube channel to highlight a dead game that I used to love dearly. I never knew I'd be able to pull off some voodoo like this and actually start pulling this game up from the dirt. Let's get 1,000 players on IGunz. If we can get 300 in the matter of a few weeks, why not 1,000 by the end of the summer? We could do it, guys. When the player base grows, so does the content. We can start hosting community-driven events and tournaments with prize pools, but most importantly, we can all continue to grow this game together and preserve one of the greatest esports that never was. If we make people see the potential of this game, who's to say maybe Tencent or Blizzard or even a smaller indie team doesn't decide to make a spiritual successor to this game? This niche exists for a reason. People still like this game for a reason. Even new players who are trying to start one of the literal hardest things to do. It is mastering a martial art inside of a video game is what GunZ is, and people are still learning in 2021 on a game that was released in 2004, okay? This game is still good, and this community can go to the moon, and I'm not just saying that because I like this game. There is a niche for a third-person shooter with very, very high action per minutes like GunZ. You might bring up a comparison. You might say Warframe is like this, or S4 League was like this, and I know those games had their own little things. Nothing compares to the actions per minute per GunZ. The amount of movements, button in, like, it's insane. This game is unique, and we need to show people. Keep fighting the good fight, GunZ community. Let's rock.